Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today's session. This presentation will cover the latest features and enhancements introduced in Nakisa Lease Accounting Suite 2025 R1 release. The goal of this session is to provide you an overview of the new capabilities and demonstrate how they can streamline lease accounting management processes, improve compliance, and enhance overall efficiencies. This is an overview of the features and enhancements released in this version. We have lease-end term logic, aggregate financial schedules, month-end closing financial periods, cost object enhancements, IBR by internal asset class, ERP Field Mapping. The new features are SAP Sync Custom BAPI, lease payment expense based on GL mapping, Lessor accounting for subleases, as well as the mask workload adaptation and security and consolidated imported files. So we will start with our lease and term logic. This introduces a standardized rule that ensures any exercise payment term always appear in the financial schedules. So previously there were scenarios where exercise terms within an activation group did not reflect correctly in the financial schedules. This led to inconsistencies and potential discrepancies in accounting reports. So what we have introduced is a switch on the FOSS, whereby we include the lease and term ignores the payments. If it's to true, when this field is set to true, what it does is it will ignore other payment terms that occur on the same day and the same time as the termination option or purchase option or casualty when the modification date is the same period as the lease end term. Otherwise, if modification date is in another period or the field is set to false, the other terms will not be ignored. So we look at an example to see this feature. What we are seeing is a contract where there are four terms entered. Three terms are for base rent, which start on January 1st, 2025 and ending on December 31st, 2028, whereby the last payment is on 1st of December 2028. Now we have a termination option that has not been exercised, which is on September 1st, 2025. So now we can see when we come on the draft that was created for showing you that how when toggle is on or we are reasonably certain that this termination will be exercised, because we have the for setting that states that untoggle any other terms if the modification date is same as the term end date, right? So if I will toggle on, they will be turned off automatically, also because of the fact that they all have been entered in the solution at start of the date. So if I click on, you will see that automatically they get untoggled, and the user also get a notification with a triangle saying the term ignored due to termination option, purchase option, or casualty. So now when the user is going to go on the payment schedule, they will be only seeing the termination payment of $50,000, and they will not be seeing all the different payment terms. The next feature we're going to talk about is the aggregated financial schedules. So 2025 R1 release introduces the ability to generate aggregated financial schedules at the activation group level. This feature significantly reduces complexity for managing large portfolios with multiple units under a single lease contract. So we have clients who have delivery vehicles, fleets, where they may have under one contract 100 units. So what are the key benefits of this feature? With this aggregation, instead of generating separate financial schedules for each unit, the system now allows a single consolidated view of financial commitments. So the schedules will still be generated per unit, and the user has the option to go and view it. At the same time, you are given the option of aggregating all the schedules for to have one view itself. So this will be particularly useful for companies which have large portfolios, and managing individual contracts can become overwhelming. The aggregation feature also enhances performance and reporting accuracy, reducing the need for any manual data consolidation that sometimes a client have been doing recently in pivots. And by offering this holistic view, financial terms teams can actually analyze lease commitments more effectively and improve decision-making processes. We've also introduced how-to videos, which are also available on YouTube now. I'll be sharing the how-to video on aggregated financial schedules now.
We will walk through aggregated financial schedules that provide greater clarity into the financial effect of large lease contracts. Hi, I'm Candace, a contract manager responsible for lease approvals, to assess a newly created activation group and approve it if acceptable. I navigate to the activation group for review. On the Terms and Conditions page, I see a single payment term of $12,000 per month per unit. On the unit list page, I confirm that 6 delivery vehicles are included in the lease component, resulting in 6 months of $12,000 each. To analyze the financial impact, I access the financial schedules via the navigation panel and select IAS Finance Schedule. The Financial Schedules page opens on the All Column schedule. I click on the full screen icon in the top right. Now I can see financial periods for the lease duration. Currently, I'm viewing schedules for a single unit. Using the unit dropdown, I can switch to other units in this activation group. For a broader impact analysis, I open the aggregation level dropdown, and I select per activation group. The system aggregates the financial data. Instead of 6 separate schedules showing $12,000 payments, I now see a single schedule with a $72,000 payment. All values, including those within payment, payable, and asset sections, are aggregated. Using the schedule dropdown, I can switch between financial views. Aggregation is applied across all schedules, including all columns, liability, payment, and asset transition. Finally, I select Export in the top right corner to export the aggregated financial schedule. An export job is initiated, and I can download the file once it's ready. Having reviewed the activation group, I am ready to it, where I can leave feedback via user comments. At which point the activation group is approved and ready for the next stage of the workflow process.
The next feature that we're going to cover is the month end or the closing financial periods. So this allows companies to close their financial periods directly within Nakisa, enhancing control over financial reporting. So when a financial period is closed, the system prevents additional postings, maintaining the integrity of financial data. It helps you with compliance and data accuracy. So when companies are doing month-end processes and year-end processes, that's where it comes in play to ensure that there is no postings being made in the period that has been closed. Now, after the reports have been reconciled, transactions have been verified, and you have done the financial statement reporting disclosure reports are all prepared. So how have we given this feature? It is available for connected and disconnected both instances. So if you are disconnected, user can open and close posting periods manually. Whereas if you're connected with your ERP system, then it can be a scheduled job and you can automate the process. So by default, the configurations that are out of the box, that all the open periods are from the year 2000 up until 9,999. That's the year. In case you don't have SAP configurations that are for closed period. So we'll show you on the UI. Let's start with the connected. So if you have a connected system, you can have a sync job in the SAP sync bot, whereby you can sync the payment period control and posting period variant. So basically, you will be able to bring in the settings from your ERP system in Nakisa, and this can be synced on a monthly basis or a weekly basis as per requirement. And what you will see is that there's a setting under the financial org structure, the first we have. Under the ERP settings, there's a new um, table that are available that needs to be completed, which is for posting periodic control and posting period variant. So this setting of posting period variant is coming from the SAP if you're already connected. And if you're not, then you can create one internally in Nakisa and then assign the period that you want to open. So as you can see on the screen, that we have the fiscal period 1 and the fiscal year start is 2020, and fiscal period end as well as the year end is 2099. So what this means that the periods that are open are January and the year is 2020. So basically January 2020 is open up until December 2099. So if this needs to be closed, then the user can manually come and change this every month if it is not connected system. If it is a connected system, this will get automatically synced from your ERP, and that is why this setting is sitting in the ERP setting. So this is the month end closing financial periods, making sure that there will be complete accuracy and compliance of your financial records. By using this, the postings will be in the correct period as it is in your ERP system as well in Nakisa. The next we have is the cost object enhancement. Regardless of the FOSS setting configurations that is done for the cost center allocation, now you have a greater flexibility in defining, modifying, and allocating the cost objects, the cost centers, and WBS. So the new feature enables the user to modify the cost object not only before the lease activation, but also after the activation, the post activation. The functionality is also valuable for scenarios where there is a need to reallocate cost due to organizational restructuring or changes in the financial management strategies. So you can easily switch between the cost object to WBS and vice versa. The system also provides you efficiencies with mass import and modification of cart objects, allowing you to batch update and reduce manual data entry. So you can change everything at the unit level in bulk before or after activation. We also have enhanced a number of reporting capabilities that you can filter reports for responsible cost centers. Now we have the IBR by internal asset class. So this functionality allows you to define specific IBR for different internal asset classes enhancing accuracy in interest calculation, and ensuring compliance with IFRS 16 and ASC 842. So what we have done is we have a new FOSS configuration, and we are introducing an internal asset class field within your IBR configuration. So user can now create an individual incremental borrowing rate, which they can assign that rate to be applied to a specific asset class within the drop down for the internal asset classes. So all the configured and active internal classes are available for your selection in the FOSS, and IBR can be created manually or user can use the mass upload capability. So now there will be different rates being applied to leases, even though they fall under the same term lease duration. It's the same lease term duration. So I will show you on. Moving on, we have ERP Field Mapping enhancement. So this new feature in Nakisa 2025 R1 release supports robust integration with external ERP systems by allowing users to define which fields are mapped and transferred. So as we know, companies have different requirements when it comes to data transfer between systems. And that's why we are moving away from the one size fits all approach. Now the user can create customized mapping between Nakisa fields and ERP fields, supporting seamless data transfers. So what are we doing is we are allowing users to have the ability to alter the information that is sent from Nakisa in the posted documents to the general ledger, and then once the SAP posting bot is run separately, it is sent from general ledger to your ERP system. This particularly is very useful when interrogating with complex ERP structures such as SAP, where you have different data format structures that may differ as well. The enhancement reduces the need for manual intervention and reconciliation, as Nakisa ensures integrity of data during the export and synchronization of processes. So let's see how we can use this feature under Nakisa General Ledger. The user will come to the main menu and they will select under SAP Posting Bot ERP Field Mapping. Once you do that, the user can select the ERP system. And once you select your ERP system, you will be able to see all the document types which is being transferred to your ERP when you're doing all these postings. You can add or edit these mapping in accordance with your needs. So you could have standard or you could have custom fields that contain specific information based on your internal business processes. Now, how you can do that is by selecting the different fields that we have available here. Some of the fields are editable and some of them are non-editable. You can modify existing fields or you can create new fields by adding an ERP field mapping. We have a number of internal validations and controls, security measures that helps again to ensure your data integrity and it's maintained without errors, as well as audit records for future reference. Next, we have customized BAPI. So BAPIs are business application programming interface, which is basically used to interact between two applications. So in our case, we have Nakisa as well as your ERP system. So we pull information from your SAP into Nakisa FOSS by running the SAP Sync bot. We are pulling what? We are pulling the GL account, cost centers, foreign exchange, vendor IDs. All this is being pulled from your ERP system. Now, what happens is that uh, you have thousands of accounts maybe for assets, which will include your owned assets as well as your leased assets. So we don't need to sync your owned asset GL account details. We just need to sync all the accounts that are related to lease accounting, which are required by the Nakisa lease accounting solution. So now we have enabled the flexibility to customize the data extraction process, which is basically allowing you to override the default BAPI with your customized BAPI. So this will ensure optimized, tailored data retrieval aligning with your business requirements. And this will also have enhanced performance now since the data set is very specific, required by Nakisa, and not the data sync is for all of the information. So if we go on the UI, as we can see quickly under the SAP sync bot, we have all these fields, data tables that we can actually sync from your ERP. And here in this Nakisa Sync SAP Sync bot, we have a settings where you can see all the SAP Sync process, the 8 BAPIs that we have. And now you have the option to actually customize them. And we will be improving our performance since, as I mentioned, is only going to be pulling information that is required by FOSS. Now we have lease payments by expense type. What does this mean? We now have the ability to split the lease payments in journal entries based on the different expense categories to different GL accounts. So this will provide greater financial clarity and control. It also will support complex accounting scenarios where lease related expenses need to be allocated to multiple different GL ledger accounts. And a simple example would be if you have a base rent term and a supplemental term. Now you can assign different GL accounts for payments for the base rent as well as a different account for a supplemental term as well. So as we said, this will help in enhanced tracking and reconciliation as well as financial reporting. So how is it done? So we will go to the FOSS to see this. So if no AP account, if no AP account is configured, the system will go back to default, which is the AP lease clearing account, and that is out of the box. But if the lessee account determination is under that, if we have mapped AP accounts by expense category, which is basically under FOSS, and you will come on the main menu under system configurations. Under lessee account determination, we have the lessee expense by category. So now if a user is going to define for each category a GL account, so when the payment is made, it's going to be booked under that account. So for example, if I choose to have a supplementary term as mentioned before, and I assign an AP clearing account to it, so next when the payment is going to be made, it's going to split your payment into different GL accounts. So the mapping feature is highly configurable, allowing finance teams to align lease expenses with their internal financial reporting structures. Lessor accounting for subleases. This update introduces specific functionalities for managing subleases under operating lease classifications. It supports compliance with IFRS 16 and ASC 842 by providing accurate financial schedules for sublease arrangements. The system automates the classification of subleases and ensures that all accounting entries align with the lease accounting standard. So as we said, we are now able to track the financial impact of subleases and the main lease contract itself. Now we can go through an example and see how it is done. We also have the capability of the workflow, event execution, batch management, reporting, data import and export. And as I said, I will show you an example in the UI. So here we see that it's a contract sublease is created. Also, what we can do is within the initial creation, we can just do on a drop down of we can create a contract. We select Lessor. Under this master agreement, we will select this as sublease, and then we can assign the name sublease to. And that's how you will start the creation of the contract. I will go to the example that's already completed. So as we see, there is a lease contract. And now we have going to go through the example of the sublease. In the lease determination, we will answer the question so that we do end up with the lease contracts fixed sales type. And then we can see more information right here where we have our sublease linked and reference also to our actual lease. In the partners, we will see our lessee. And the accounting tab, we will not have the financing terms, and we can complete the other sections as required. If we go further down in the terms, we no longer have the, in the definition page, we still have to enter all the information required for the asset class as well as the start and date and the number of units being subleased. We do no longer have the carryover balance, unlike what we have in a lessee. And then we have the terms and conditions for the amounts that we are going to receive and payments. Next, we have our activation group, and I'll show you on the schedules. We will be able to see the operating lease schedule, which is definitely less columns as compared to our all column schedule for lessee. In the post, we will see the amounts that we are going to receive as accrued rent income. Also, we have the event supported under sublease as well. So if you come on the events, we can create an event. I'll put the modification date as December 31st, 2024. And the two modifications that are available reasons are terms and conditions and reassessment as well as indexation. Master workflow transitions. We have brought in enhancements under the master workflow transition, whereby the user will have the same capabilities in batch management as they have on the UI on a manual basis. So, for example, previously a lease administrator who had an NLA batch role would also have the mask workflow transition roles. So they will be able to activate an AG in mass, whereas on the UI, they are not unable to do it manually. So therefore, with the release, now we have implemented additional security checks and prevent users from conducting workflow actions in mass that they are not allowed to execute manually. Secondly, we have also enhanced the issue that we had initially found that when an activation group is defined from an initial state from at a status of defined to an end state that is active, the user, the accountants, did not have the capabilities of reviewing the schedules, confirm classifications before it gets activated. So now what we have added is that with the design, when a user selects a defined initial state, they have the action to do the generate schedule. And then once validated, it ends with the end active status. The user can create the job and it will just generate schedules for all the activations group of the job initially. So I'll show you on the UI how it is done. So when the user comes to the create workflow transition job, they will select activation group. And as I mentioned initially, for the lessor and sub lease, you have the option of having your workflow transition under lessor as well. In this case, I am selecting activation group and I'm going from design status to generate schedules. And then I'm defining the end state at step 1. And then we can define from an action step 2 that you can give. So you can add these multiple action steps with the end state, and each action item will take place before it goes to the next step. So as you saw on the UI, that now the user has multiple actions that can be linked, enabling them step-by-step workflow progression in a single job, and the accountant will be able to verify and validate financial information before the object changes its status to the final state. Consolidated import files. With this process now, we allow you to have multiple objects to be imported into a single file, reducing the need for multiple import jobs while keeping the option for individual import files as well. So if you would like to only import contract and lease component, it is possible. Whereas if you would like to import combined master data agreement contract and lease component into a single import file, that's also available now. It improves efficiency by reducing the number of steps required to onboard large data sets that you may have. And the system also validates imported data. It displays you errors directly in the relevant sheets for a quick resolution, ensuring accuracy before applying changes to the database. Let's see a how-to video by Tracy. She'll show us how to upload a consolidated import file.
Today, we will walk through importing data into the system, focusing on importing multiple system objects within a single process in Nakisa Lease Accounting. Hi, I'm Tracy, a lease administrator, and I'm responsible for creating contracts. I received a list of newly signed lease agreements. With the latest capability, importing a consolidated data file, I can now create system data in bulk within a single import process. Within the main menu, under the Import-Export Information section, I select Import. The Mass Import page opens, and I can click on the plus icon to start a new import job. The Import dropdown allows me to choose multiple system objects to be imported from a single Excel file. I'll pick Master Agreement, Contract, and Lease Component. In Principal Position, I can select whether these are lessee or lessor lease agreements. Next, I select the ERP system under which the data should be created. After selecting the Principal Position, the UI updates to display all possible Excel sheets that can be imported for each selected object. In this case, I don't need to import all the data, so I deselect the unnecessary ones in the Import Sheets section. After finalizing my selections, I click Template at the bottom left. I can choose to generate a template with or without sample data. In this case, having sample data will help guide me in populating the file. I'll click Download to get the template. This prompts the system to generate the consolidated import file based on my inputs. The file will appear in the browser downloads section. The file downloads successfully, with color-coded sheets to help identify which sheets correspond to specific object types. I fill out the file, using the operation function to specify that this import will create new system data. It's also possible to use imports to update existing data. I'll also be careful to use the Excel IDs to link my objects between each sheet. These will eventually be replaced with system IDs during the import. Once I'm satisfied with the file, I return to my browser and click the plus icon in the blue bar. This allows me to select the file I was working on. I click Import. This initiates the beginning of the import process. A new import job is created and added to the job queue with a scheduled status. Once it reaches the front of the queue, processing will begin. After a short amount of time, the process completes successfully and the job status updates to done. I will click on the job report icon under the Actions column. I can now view a detailed report showing the status of each imported sheet. Under the Actions column, I can see explanations for any failed, canceled, or skipped items. Having exited the job report, I can review the successfully created system data in Nakisa Lease Accounting.
Thank you, Tracy. So with this, we conclude today's session. So we saw that the KISA 2025 on release introduces robust updates designed to enhance control flexibility and efficiency in lease accounting suite, as well as some features applied to our Nakisa lease management suite. These enhancements not only introduce new features, but also address few gaps, ensuring a smooth transition and greater efficiency in your daily workflows. So thank you for your attention today. Please feel free to ask any questions or reach out through our support channels if you need more detailed information or personal assistance with the new release features. Thank you very much and have a good day.